Welcome back at 7:21. Now, MPs are back in the House of Commons for the fall session. It's the first time Prime Minister Mark Carney and Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre have confronted each other in person in question period. And Carney has signaled the fall budget's deficit might be bigger than last year's, partly because of U.S. tariffs. Here with more to discuss this is Dalhousie University political scientist Lori Turnbull. Good morning, Lori.
Good morning.
So let's talk about your thoughts. What were your thoughts on the highly anticipated opening of the fall session?
Well, I always think, this is going to be a lot more theater than it is substance. And I think that seems to be the case right now. But I would say, I think that the Conservatives are very focused on the issues that are showing up for Canadians every day. They are really pushing the government on what they see as gaps in the government's performance, whether it's about affordability, cost of living, cost of groceries, problems with the immigration system, and balanced against the lack of affordable housing. Like they're really, really pushing on things that they think are vulnerabilities in the Liberals' performance. And it just struck me that the government's responses in a lot of cases were a bit flat, to be honest. Every time the Conservatives put up questions about the cost of food, for some reason the Liberals had the housing minister stand up and talk about Build Canada Homes. And I understand they want to put their accomplishments in the window, but I think there is a risk here for the Liberals that Canadians are going to really start asking questions about when something is going to come forward by way of relief. And I think that the government is trying to prepare us for an austerity budget. If that's even more austere than people think, and I think that's a possibility, I think the Conservatives are going to start to pick up some ground, frankly, in terms of what is going to happen for people in terms of relief.
Now, right now, Prime Minister Carney and Pierre Poilievre did face off for the first time in the House. How do you think that went?
Well, I think that Pierre Poilievre has this sort of thing running through his veins. I think he comes alive in moments where he has these kinds of showdowns. You can just see him picking up energy as he goes. And I think, for all that happened over the last few months in terms of him losing his seat, the party didn't win the election, and there's been this kind of dark cloud hanging over it all. Boy, it seems like the Conservative caucus is just thrilled to have him in there. And I think the Conservatives had, definitely Pierre Poilievre had a lot of fun yesterday. Prime Minister Carney strikes me as a CEO more than a politician. And, he's fine in question period. He gets through it, but I don't think it's the same kind of, excitement for him than it is for Pierre Poilievre.
Mm-hmm. Well, so Canadians, they're expecting a budget next month, but there are signs it could be delayed. First of all, they have to probably get some friends to come along with them to support it. And I know the Bloc Québécois, in that report that Michael Couture did, looked like they're a little hesitant to maybe, become besties with the Liberals. What are your thoughts on this budget? Why is it delayed?
Well, I do think this is going to be a real austerity budget. I think they asked the ministers all to come up with 15% that they can cut in their departments. And I suspect that is a very difficult exercise for everybody. And it's probably, that against trying to figure out where the economy is going and sitting in terms of the uncertainty with the US. And they are also, I think, probably trying to get some more of these projects nailed down so that they've got some good news to share with people. But at the same time, I think, and this, I don't mean to be a downer, but I think they know that they can get away with it. They know that they can get away with delaying the budget. I really don't expect this government to have a whole lot of concern, to be honest, about how they're going to get through Parliament. I think the Conservatives are really going to try to make the time in Parliament count, and they're the official opposition. Of course they will. And I think that Prime Minister Carney wants to govern by making decisions, making announcements, getting things done. And I think, like other prime ministers, Parliament's going to be a bit of a pain in the neck for him that he'll try to minimize. I don't think they're going to have any problem getting their legislation passed. I think, if anything, if the NDP has a hard time backing up what the Liberals are going to do, they're just going to sit out the vote, right? They're not going to go vote in favor of an austerity budget, I doubt, but they're not going to bring down the government over it either, because they don't have a leader right now. And so I think we'll probably see the Liberals, that they've got 169 seats. That's not a majority, but it's pretty close.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see, Laura, but we really appreciate your thoughts today. Thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks for having me.
That was Dalhousie University's Lori Turnbull. We're going to take a little break on Your Morning Atlantic. We'll be right back after this. The time now is 7:26.